enjoy the history lesson. 100 years ago, on this date, women won the right to vote, which took 70 years before that. But also 100 years ago, construction of that school down there started. We call it the 1924 section because that's when the kids first attended school, but it started to be built in 1920. So I'm really sorry we're not having our meeting down there tonight because it would be the last annual school district meeting in that building. And the tie together that I thought about today is, voters, women fought for a long time to get the vote, but those 8 ladies that started talking about a school for kids, grades 1 through 12 in Sevastopol in 1918, didn't have their mind on the world, they had their mind on doing something here in Sevastopol, and they accomplished that. So the decisions we make here at this meeting, the decisions we make at board meetings every month are going to have an impact for generations to come on students here. So that was my history lesson. We'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll ask the school board clerk to read the notice of the annual meeting.
It's on the top
Just in the front.
Thank you.
Notice of the annual meeting, School of District of Sevastopol. Notice is hereby given to the qualified electors of the School District of Sevastopol that the annual meeting and budget hearing of said district for the transaction of business will be held in the high school, middle school IMC library room 146 of the Sevastopol School on the 4th Tuesday, being the 25th of August 2020 at 6:30 p.m. dated this 14th day of August 2020.
Okay, then for introductions, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to have people ask to introduce themselves and tell their place of residence, and that's strictly for if we had people here that we didn't know, they might not be electorates of the school district. This way everyone will identify themselves, and if you're in the school board, tell us you're in the school board. Carl, we'll start with you.
Carl Volkman, business manager of the district and voting resident of the district.
Give your address.
5867 Timber Ridge Road, Sturgeon Bay.
Thank you.
Jerry Warwick, school board member. I live at 5122 Bayshore Drive.
Richard Weidman, school board member, 4108 South Country View Road.
Linda Waite, 5075 Bluff Court in the town of Sevastopol.
Karen Brower, 6110 Borden Road, town of Sevastopol.
Cindy Zellner-Ehlers, school board member, 7097 Bowers Old Dam Lane, Bailey's Harbor.
Sue Today, school board member, 4380 State Highway 42, town of Sevastopol.
Melissa Margraf, director of People Services, 4965 Deer Run Trail, town of Sevastopol.
Adam Vera, middle school, high school principal, 1557 Michigan Street, Sturgeon Bay.
Tracy.
Tracy Wetlet, E4736 Dunn Road, town of Sevastopol.
Steve Zahalski, tech coordinator of Sevastopol, 4817 County Road P in the town of Sevastopol.
Aaron Hiltz, elementary principal. I reside outside the district.
Keith Volkman, school board member, 5458 County Road TT, town of Sturgeon Bay, school district of Sevastopol.
Dave Kakrinsky, 4375 Simon Creek Road in Sturgeon Bay. It's a town of Jacksonport.
Tyler Bluff, an attorney from Pinker Law Firm. I reside at 4042 Sand Bay Point Road in Sturgeon Bay.
Kyle Lippy, superintendent. I reside at 4838 Bayshore Heights Circle, Sturgeon Bay, town of Sevastopol. And I'm the superintendent.
Lisa Berry, 5963 Jordan's Road, town of Jacksonport, and I'm a school board member. We'll next take nominations for a chairperson for the evening.
I would nominate Linda Waits.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Are there any other nominations?
Who was the second?
Tracy Waller. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'm on practice. I've done this for a few years. I usually sit next to the attorney so he can walk me through everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can move.
If that works.
Go.
That works out great.
He just wants me further away. He's excited.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Aaron Hiltz.
Aaron Schultz. Do you need this recorder, David?
No, I don't.
He doesn't need it, and better to hear you.
All right, next on the agenda, we have the previous minutes of our annual meeting, August 27th on 2019, which is included in your handout. So if you've had a chance to look those over, I guess we would need a motion to accept, approve, place on file, or any corrections.
I move that we approve the minutes of August 27th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carried. And item number 6, the 2019-2020 financial report, again included on pages 7 and 8 of our handout. And we'll turn that over to Mr. Luke.
Pages 7 and 8 give you a breakdown of the information. I'll give you an overview. Also on page 4, there's a tax levy and our rate and evaluation of our property history in there as well. The 2021 is obviously not known at this time, but that's projected. This past year, in October, we adopted a budget. We believed our revenue would be $10,093,231. Our unaudited budget, which will be audited next week, August 31st, 1st, and 2nd. We believe our revenue for the year was $10,430,718, and our expenditures were projected to be $10,339,702, and we believe we spent $9,784,274 for a surplus of $646,444. The reason for the difference is our revenue that came in above expenses. We had some insurance dividends, almost $5,000. We received quite a bit more in high-cost transportation aid than we expected, $118,829, and we were allotted a per pupil aid, $63,294 greater than we expected. The real area where we came out ahead was our open enrollment. Our revenue for open enrollment was greater than our expenditure in this area by $371,732. And open enrollment, you do not know what you're going to receive until June of the school year because it's on a per pupil, per day basis, depending on when a student arrives, when they leave, and what your numbers are. So Sevastopol is very fortunate to have more students in open enroll in than open enroll out. Items that came in under budget or below what we spent was our building operations of $65,726. We had transfer into Fund 27 for special education was $84,365 less than we expected. Some of that can be attributed to having the kids go home on March 17th this last year. Our electrical cost was $15,000 less, and the gas for heating the building was $33,000 less than expected. We had kind of more of a mild winter, And then we turn down the heat and spend electricity in the spring as well. Transportation costs were $49,371 less than expected. We canceled some insurance on our buses when we stopped doing all of our routes. And when we were delivering food in March, April, and May, we were making 1 run a day compared to 2 runs when we were delivering students, plus all of our field trips and extracurriculars that would come out of transportation budget we didn't have in the spring, so we kind of got shut down. The same thing with athletics. We spent $33,072 less than expected because our spring sports seasons were all canceled. Legal services, we always have a cushion there. We did not need to call the lawyer as much, so we had $16,469 less expenses. The school board did their part and spent $25,000 less than what they had. The retirement benefit of $17,711 is one particular individual, so I can't tell you who that is, but their package for their retirement, we benefited by their age group they fell into. And then postage and telephone, we had an extra $13,525 planned for there. And that was the name. I should go back. I don't know. It's okay. Does anyone have any questions on the 1920 budget? And next week, the auditors will be here for 3 days, and then we can tell you at that'll be October board meeting before they get that done.
Or Rob, were you later than that?
Last year was
December before they came and saw us.
right. So
Yeah.
and so far they haven't asked for too much from me, right? Okay.
They
So
will.
so we won't know for a couple months when it's actually audited, but we feel it's pretty accurate. Any questions?
So we can move on.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to item number 7 on the agenda. State of the District 2019-2020 Academic Progress Report.
Good evening. It's always an honor to be able to represent the school district of Sevastopol and report on our state of our district. Thank you, Linda, for welcoming us to this meeting. I'd like to start by introducing my colleagues. Mr. Aaron Hiltz is our elementary principal, and Mrs. Melissa Margraf is our pupil service director, and my name is Adam Baird. I'm the middle school, high school principal. Thank you for being with us tonight. We look forward to sharing some of the things that we've learned over the last year. It's definitely been a year of change. There's really been a changing landscape of education over the last year, and we've learned a tremendous amount over this time. Tonight we hope to share some of those things with you, but education as we know it changed tremendously on March 17th of last year. And so as we prepared this report today, we really thought about all those changes that took place, and all the things that we learned from that, and all the things we can look forward to. The one thing though we want the community to know, and we need the community's help with, is to make sure that they understand that we're committed to a few core values and principles. As we met as an administrative team, we really think it's important to make unified decisions. We need our community's support in order to do that. We need your feedback as we work through this changing process. So we wanted to share that goal with all of you tonight. In addition to that, we're committed to modeling prevention for our students. We think it's really important that we model how to be safe citizens. Our biggest responsibility before any learning can take place, we need to provide a safe environment. So we hope that you can share that goal with us as we model that commitment to our students. One of the things that we've noticed over the last several months, 5 months, is that change happens daily and without us being aware of it. So we have to be committed to being flexible and being able to pivot when necessary. So that's one of the conversations that we're having on a daily basis with our staff and with our students. The last one is resiliency. We've all learned how to be resilient in this new model. And that's been such an important part of what we've done. So as we talked over the period of creating this presentation, we wanted to make sure that our community was aware that those are the things that Sevastopol administrators are committed to, and we ask for your help so that we can meet all those responsibilities to you and our students. But the biggest thing that we want to share is our purpose for education changed on March 17th so significantly, because none of us went into this field to teach to a computer screen. We want to teach to our kids. So having the opportunity to meet our kids on Monday with smiling faces was so rewarding to all of us. And I can't tell you how much that meant to us to welcome our students back into the school. Over the last 2 days, we welcomed over 550 students back to the building, and it was so fun to see them here back where they belong. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And our next, Aaron, Mr. Hiltz is going to talk a little bit about those goals.
Good evening. Before COVID came upon us, January and February, we were about a year and a half, almost 2 years into development of our strategic planning goals. And there was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of different minds who all collaborated on putting that together. We were developing action steps. We actually had an opportunity to bring those forward to you. And with everything that happened from March on, we realized that those are things that need to be put on the back burner. There are some pieces to that that have been worked on, and there's some progress that's been made. For example, we have a youth apprenticeship program now. At the elementary level, we have positive behavior intervention supports, and we continue to work on those things. We also have a gifted and talented program with our new director of that on board this year, thanks to the foresight of the board to add that position. So those are things that are still moving forward, even though we're putting some of those action steps on the back burner. And the reason for that is really for us to have an opportunity as a staff to focus on the wellness of our students as well as our staff, to make sure that we're able to meet the needs of all those people, especially considering what they experienced back in the late spring and what we're going to need to provide for them going forward. So those are our focuses on our goals.
Talk a little bit about what we have committed to in the past and what we are committed to into the future as we look at the new landscape of education. So it's really important for us to maintain our professional practice goals, and that's for our entire Sevastopol, the entire Sevastopol community. Thanks, Stephen. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Okay, thanks. So when I say the entire Sevastopol community, it's everyone that works at Sevastopol. And some of the ways that, but this one is particular to our teaching staff and our associate staff, but the dedication to increasing our knowledge in technology. As my colleague said, when 17th happened of March, it really stopped us in our tracks a little bit. We really had to rethink how we were going to educate the students of Sevastopol. So we remained committed to technological advances and how to increase our remote learning and our virtual platform and how we can reach kids. And we did that in a variety of ways. We spent a lot of time on the Google platform, universally getting the staff to buy into one platform so it's easier for students, it's easier for staff, and it's a good, it's one place for everyone to be. In addition, just internet, email safety, learning how to stream live classrooms for remote learners. That was really new. The end of last year, but particularly important as we move forward this year. And then developing specific policies and protocols for the elementary school for remote learners, and how different that is for the middle school and the high school. Additionally, large focus on school safety. You know, that's why we're here. So spending some time to updating the cleaning procedures to ensure a sterile and sanitary environment for everybody who comes into the building, and making sure that we remain as consistent and dedicated to that so the kids can still come every day and staff are safe. All of us are safe. And then establishing safety protocols for the school grounds, transportation, and after-school activities. It has been an amazing process to really think of all the areas that we need to think of to keep our school communities safe. So we have our physical safety, but then we also have our emotional safety, our emotional well-being of our staff and students for social emotional learning and student mental health. So we want to, last year we started developing social and emotional, trauma-sensitive school activities and resources for our staff. We remain committed to doing that again this year. Because of everything that happened, it's of even greater importance to make sure that our kids are emotionally well as well as physically well. We want to continue collaborating with our Door County agencies. We remain connected to them. They are current, and we are in a collaborative spirit of making sure that we're bringing the best resources that we can to our kids and our staff here. And then finally, the continuation of our STRIDE program, our counseling program, is still up and running. And that's counseling services for our students with the highest needs. And then finally, how important it is for us to take care of each other and the staff here at Sevastopol so they can continue to come to work every day, committed to the goals that we have. So, in addition to resources, but finding activities and finding ways for our staff to care for one another so they can come in and do the job that we value so much. Thanks.
One of the things that we reported on in the past is our standardized test scores. There are a set of tests that are taken across the state of Wisconsin in order to measure students' aptitude to accomplish the state expectations and the state standards. On March 25th of last year, Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction suspended all academic testing for the state. So we don't have that comparative data. We don't have our students' data. Those tests will not be taken or made up. We do plan on, of course, administering those tests as part of this academic year. There was one battery of tests that we were able to complete, and that's the ACT test for all juniors. So I do have that information to report out on. So all of our juniors this year, seniors, had an opportunity to take the ACT test at the end of February, early March. And these are the results for our students compared to the state of Wisconsin. Our students are represented in the lighter red color, and maroon color is the state of Wisconsin, so that you can see how our students perform. The first category is English, and our students scored an average of 20.4 on that test, where the state scored an average of 18.7. The next category is mathematics. The third category is reading. I really want to highlight reading because that's been a goal of all of ours from K through 12 for many years. It's the gateway to a lot of curriculum and information. And our students outperformed the state average by 2.4 points here. So they did a wonderful job. Keep in mind, this test, this ACT test, is a measure of college readiness. So how our students will perform in their freshman year of college. So our students as a junior are really showing that they have the aptitude to be successful at that level. Science, we also scored higher than the state. And the last score is a composite score. It's the average of all the categories. And again, we scored 21.7 when the state average was 19.8. I'm really proud of the class, the graduating class of 2021, on their ACT results. This not only shows us that we're in line with our curriculum and expectations, it shows that we're preparing our kids for that college opportunity, and it gives them a great test score starting point so they can apply for scholarship into the college or career of their choice. So this is a great start for that class.
Touching on some highlights from this past spring especially. At the elementary level, student contact was something that was the focus of our staff, was making sure that our students still felt connected to the school and when possible connected to each other. So that was through Zoom classes until we changed that, and then Google Classroom as much as possible, or Google Meets. The elementary staff also developed ways to reach students academically with whatever technology they had. They weren't prepared for us to have to go home and do remote learning. They were learning on the fly. As they say, they were building the airplane while it was in the air. They did a nice job with it. Certainly if they'd had more time, they'd have done a better job with it. But commend them for what they did with what was at hand. As we entered the summer, recognizing that some of the kids had fallen behind in some of what they were going to be doing, we ordered workbooks for them to do. They're called bridge workbooks. They cover a kid going from 3rd grade to 4th grade. It would be the curriculum that they should have known from 3rd grade and things to get prepared for 4th grade. So those were sent home as well to every student for them to use this summer.
I have 3 that I'd like to highlight. We've said that staff resiliency is one. I think it's a theme that we've said over and over during this presentation, but we need to mention again just the resilience and the adaptability of our students as our teachers as they went into a completely different learning environment. Other point that I want to highlight is the teachers, associates, and the related service staff consistently reaching out to those hard to reach students, those students with diverse learning needs or diverse language needs. Really exceptional the effort that all of our teachers went to reach them. Through that, we really feel that the students felt supported, and we also feel like there are many homeschool connections and relationships that were strengthened because of that. And then finally, wanted to mention that the food service delivery that happened was outstanding and definitely was a highlight to send the message again that Sevastopol cares about their community.
These are highlights from last year, of course, and there are many things that we want to celebrate, but one of the things that I was really proud of is that we were able to celebrate things like graduation, National Honor Society, and some senior awards with our kids, despite the closure of our building. I know that it wasn't everything that we maybe hoped for, but we did the absolute best we could, and and push that limit as much as we could to recognize those kids, and I think that's what makes Sevastopol great. We will continue to do that to the best of our ability. We also developed a lot of new methods for teaching that I think benefited us last year, but benefit us well in the future. For example, instructional videos. Our teachers are good at using technology now to make instructional videos that not only be to watch at that time, but we can send them home and students can rewatch them at a different time. That and using our textbook resources. We've always had online resources for our textbook. They've been used, but probably on a limited basis. We really were forced to use them last year, and there are some wonderful supports in there for students. So I think that's extended our curriculum opportunity. In addition to that, probably the most important thing, and I share this last one as part of this team, but last year we worked with our students, staff, and parents together to keep our community safe. And that was the message that we spread throughout that time of closure, is that we're doing this for each other, and that's a message we continue to send today when we welcome our kids back, that we're wearing our masks, we're social distancing, we're taking those steps to keep each other safe and our community safe. And that's a stronger message than probably anything else you can teach in a classroom, is pioneers take care of pioneers. So with that, I'd like to end our presentation and just say that all of us feel fortunate to work for Sevastopol and work for this great community, and we thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Unless you want to talk about the non-mandatory staff meeting after school and trauma sensitive for staff meeting?
We did. The past 2 days after school, just because this has been very new for students, very new for staff, really important for that social emotional component for the teachers as well. So we called them staff self-care circles, and it was just a chance for staff to come and just really debrief how their day went. How did it feel having the students back? How did it feel teaching with masks on? Were the students scared? Did they feel safe? And just really a place for teachers really to kind of, with the hope of kind of letting go a little bit and being real about the situation that we're in right now and how we can care with each other and take care of one another through it. So one of the things that was highlighted was just how much the staff can rely on each other through this, and how friendship and leadership are kind of intertwined. We all have to remember to be there for one another, and then through the difficult times, and how we can rely on each other. So in addition to how the day went for them and how they want to better prepare, some things that they want to do differently, some things that they learned, but then the last question was, how are you going to take care of yourself through this? What are some of the strategies that you have to take care of yourself? So you're able to come and do the work in a not difficult, but ever-changing environment, because we're all going to adapt to this, but there's going to be a time period where it's just going to be uncomfortable, and we're not going to know. So we want to make sure that we continue to have those opportunities, because we can all learn from each other. And I think one of the things that the staff survey did say, if I could bring that up, is, how sometimes, we are a K-12 school, but sometimes, we are in silos, right? We work with different staff members. I think this is a really beautiful opportunity for all of us to learn how to navigate this environment, no matter what content area you teach, no matter what grade level you teach. So we're really trying to promote that unity amongst the staff as an opportunity of growth.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. With the alternating 3 days and 2 day the school week, are they still, or will you still be offering any virtual classes on those off days when students are home? And is the staff here 5 days a week?
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yes, the students are attending, we have a green and gold schedule, or an A and B schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So those students that are gold are attending on Mondays and Thursdays and alternating Wednesdays. The students that are green or B are attending on Tuesdays, Fridays, and alternating Wednesdays. So this model is for a soft opening. It's for a soft start, so that we can get our kids back in the building and work on procedures, work on relationships, because our kids have been out of the classroom for almost 5 months, and really rebuild that academic rigor and expectation together in small groups, learn the new procedures. Our goal is to go to fully 100% in-person attendance on September 8th. That's our goal. We will be, of course, monitoring the infection rate around our community and looking at that, but that is our goal as a staff and community. So students do have the opportunity to attend either virtually or in person. Families are given that decision, and we work very closely with those families. Our virtual attendance is very different from last year. This year, students are required to log in to each class and be part of a Google meeting, so they can be part of the dialogue, the rich dialogue and discussion that happens in a classroom, because that's where a lot of learning takes place. So they're showing on a screen in the classroom. They can see their entire classroom, teacher, whiteboard, smartboard, whatever that might be, and we can see them and have interactions with them. So they would be able to ask questions like any other student in the room. So that's the best way for us to have them participate at this point. So it's, there are some challenges with it because we still have the internet connectivity issue in our community, which we really have to address. Because we have spots where you can't only get internet, you also can't get cell phone coverage. So that's a really big challenge. So that kind of explains two of our models. One of the 50% attendance, which we're going to use through the end of this month, or through September 4th. And then the 100% in person. The other model we have is 100% virtual. Okay, so those are the three models for instruction that we have at this point. Before it was changing and pivoting, we all know that at any given time we could change between any one of those models. Did I answer all of your questions, or did I miss one? I'm sorry.
Is the staff here 5 days a week?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you want to know though, if it's a B day, what does an A student do?
Well, if I'm in school on Monday, do you assign me work for Tuesday?
Yeah, absolutely. The teachers lecture more and instruct more and do more homework than for Tuesday.
Sorry.
That's okay, and certainly at the elementary level, a little bit different than what Adam described in the sense that a student doesn't have academic classes, all day long. So we focus on the core subjects. We've asked them to try and log in if they can. If they can't, those classes are going to be recorded and they will watch those at a later time. But if they're an A student, A day student, they would get instruction in class. The teachers, rather than giving a lot of work time, as they have in the past when they see the kids every day, they focus on the instruction, and then the practice is given for that B day. And when the B day students come in, they give that focused instruction, and then when they go home, they take home that material so that they can practice that.
And the reason that is our intended model is because we can't rely on the internet access across our community to ensure that we have all students connected. Was it 17 or 18%, Mr. Lippy?
18%.
Without 18% without internet connectivity, which is almost 1 in 5 students. So, we can't leave any students behind, let alone 20%, almost 20% like this.
Yeah, and the only thing I wanted to add is that's why we're not requiring virtual instruction on the days that they're home. It's not equitable for all of our students, and we learned that, during the spring.
But with that 18%, we do have, 30 hotspots, Stephen, ready to go in case we end up 100% remote, so that we can reduce that 18% to a lower amount. Exactly what we'll get it down to, I don't know. Right. Any ballpark, Stephen? You have to take a guess.
No idea.
You want to take a guess? I can put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's okay. 30, so we'd probably be able to bring it down to about less than 10%.
Less than 10, okay. Yeah. Which is across all of rural Wisconsin, this issue. There's some school districts I've read that have 50% that don't have access to internet, so it's just the way the world is. Well, I shouldn't say rural too, because I also talked to some superintendents from suburban and urban, and they have access issues as well. The suburbanites have it the nicest, and the suburban have it a little better than we do. Yeah. That's a common problem.
There are parts of Green Bay that do have connectivity.
Right. Yeah.
Regarding connectivity, in March 17th, there were no leaves on the trees. Now there are leaves on the trees, which is a big fall for some of this line of sight connectivity. Have you seen an increase in problems? Well, of course, you haven't been.
It's only been here for a couple of days, but something that all the elementary teachers will be doing, just so we can get an updated look at that, is surveying all of our families. Some of it will change because some families who didn't see a need for internet accessibility have now added that. But as you say, some, it's been more difficult with the leaves on the trees. So we'd like to know more updated on that.
Aaron, what was it, all elementary grades that got this book to kind of bridge them into the fall?
Correct.
Okay. So 4K through 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I think it went up to 6.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
We kind of treat sixth grade more like elementary than middle school throughout this whole process.
Yeah, a big part of that was one-to-one devices. We had devices 7th grade up, so 6th grade found it more common to what we were doing at the elementary levels.
But now we're one-to-one, sixth grade on up. We were 9-12, we issued the 7th and 8th grade.
In like a
Almost
panic
those
2 days
two
last
days
year.
We had in March.
Yeah.
And then we've got enough for sixth grade as well now, so we've expanded on down. So we're very fortunate we went one-to-one a year and a half ago, January of 19, was it? Yeah, we're fortunate we got a little bit ahead of it there.
So all students, 6 on up?
Sixth grade through 12 have a Chromebook.
As of March, or?
As of now, it was 7th grade as of March, now it's 6th grade as of now.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Byer, Mr. Margot? Mr. Nutt? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And moving on to item number 8, the 2020-2021 budget presentation and our public hearing.
Right.
Okay, looking ahead at 2021, for Fund 10 revenue to our general fund, Fund 10 must take care of Funds 27 and 50. We're looking at revenue at $10,058,012 and expenditures of $10,628,227. So looking at a budget deficit of $570,215. Our major expense is always our staffing. That's about 85% approximately of our budget for salary and benefits. Carl does a great job of this. When we build our budget, we always do it conservatively. So our revenue, we estimate conservatively, and our expenses we do. So I'm very comfortable with that $570,000 $215. I'm very confident by the end of the year we won't be there. The only expenses we're not 100% sure on are COVID expenses. To date, we've spent over $87,000 on COVID expenses, and not all the bills are in yet, and the teachers don't have all their ideas of what they may need as we go through this process. So that's an unknown in this year's budget. So that's always scary when there's an unknown. This is our enrollment as of 8/20/2020, and that was after registration, correct? Yes. Yes, it's after registration, and it'll change in the next few days as well. What we need to remember is that if a student chooses or a family chooses homeschooling over remote learning, they won't end up on this count because a homeschooler does not exist on here. Also, a head count is not what our full-time equivalency is with the state of Wisconsin. For example, an early childhood or a 4K student is only considered a 0.6 of a student. So we'll see where we end up at. When we did our revenue limit worksheet, last year we received $10,837 per pupil. We did add the $179 per pupil increase on there. There was word that that may disappear, but it looks like that's safe coming into the year. So per pupil, we're at $11,016 per pupil, which is above the state average. So revenue last year for 1920 was $8,084,421, and for 2021 we're expecting that revenue to be $8,113,512, which is an increase of $29,091. Again, the FTE is really important because it affects your next 3 years because it's a 3-year rolling average. They'll compare the 18-19-20 3-year average compared to 19-20-21 is when the 2021 school year. And there is a declining enrollment exemption, but that only hangs on for 1 year in the state formula, and the state formula will not change. So our general fund will be at $8,113,512. Last year we had a tax charge back. We do not have that anymore. It was only like less than $2,000. Debt service, that was our energy efficiency project, $131,945. That has 4 more years, and that will disappear. The long-term capital debt is $1,811,812. That is the payback on the new addition. We're in the 2nd year of paying on that 20-year project. Last year, we paid $1,969,067. So last year, we paid $157,255 more than what we're anticipating paying this year. And then our community service fund, we always keep at $20,000 for a grand total of $10,077,269. The proposed tax rate, we believe, will be $6.60. Again, we won't know that until September. We have our 3rd Friday count, and then our property valuation becomes official from the Department of Revenue in October. We're projecting our property value to increase by 4.5%. So last year, our mill rate was $6.99. If our numbers come in true, it'll be a decrease of 39 cents. And then about the construction project, to date, what they have built out outside is approximately 20%. We have paid $5.6 million in bills for the project so far, and we're scheduled to be ready to start the school year in 21-22, which will be the Tuesday after Labor Day. I think it's September 7th, because we asked to have that date as late as possible. We will end school in May, May 21st this year. And then we cannot occupy the 1946 and 24 sections after June 7th, because then they'll start the abatement process and the demolishing and then the putting up the parking lot. So next summer will be really long, because we get out in May and we won't go back until September 7th. So that's really late considering where we are now. Have any questions on the proposed budget presentation? These are the numbers you'll need for the motion. You're a citizen, so you are allowed to borrow. I don't think anyone.
I just have one question.
Yep.
In regards to the COVID expenses, how much of that do you anticipate being covered by federal funds as well as grants and things like that?
Right now, we've got state, there's a state grant, or there's a federal grant of $54,208. That's all we're getting right now, and there was another grant came out that we did not qualify for.
CARES Act we do qualify for, and we have to share that with Zion because they're a parochial school within our boundaries. The JERS money from the governor, we did not, our district didn't qualify for that. About 1 in 4 school districts qualified for that, but we did not qualify for that. And as far as any other federal funds, I'm confident the federal government will come up with something, but what it is, I really don't know at this point.
Thank you.
But right now, our expenses exceed our revenue on COVID-related expenses. And that's just the way it is. And I fully anticipate doing this again next year. But at least some of the supplies like plastics and items like that we will have, but we will hand sanitizer and cleaning supplies will just continue on. So yeah, Stephen, shouldn't blame Stephen, but we purchased a lot of technology devices, not only the one-to-one devices for 6th grade, but we also got cameras for all the classrooms so that the communication with homework's better too. So we've spent money, but we have to because it's the only way we can educate our kids.
And that'll be transferable into the new facility, correct?
Of course. Everything except for the supplies that are consumables, yes. Yeah, we have not purchased anything that won't go in the new building with us, no. Everything's going to go.
Anything else? Thank you very much. Mr. Volkman, are you going to make a motion?
I move that the tax levy be established at $10,077,269. $8,113,512 for the general fund. $131,945 for the debt service fund. And $1,811,812 for the capital expansion fund, and $20,000 for the community service fund.
Thank you. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to number 10, granting the school board authority to sell any excess personal property. So we would need a motion and a second to grant authority to sell any excess property.
I move that we grant board authority to sell excess personnel property.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And item number 11, granting the school board authority to transfer sale of any, I take it that's real property. So we would look for a motion and second.
I move to grant the board authority to transfer the sale of property,
Real property.
real property.
Second.
It is real property, correct?
Correct.
Was that Karen or Cindy? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. All right, item number 12, establish the 2020-2021 school board salaries.
I'd like to move that the salary for the school board members be increased to $255 per month with a $50 per diem for each meeting attended outside the district and mileage to and from meetings outside the district in accordance with federal guidelines.
A second.
Any discussion on that item?
Probably want to explain your theory.
I've been in this position as a business manager for the last, well, this is my 4th meeting, and that amount has not changed at all. In that time, it stayed at $245. School board has, it's not only just the school board meetings they do, but it's also the committee meetings and things like that. Convention that they go to, and just to improve with cost of living, I guess, just to kind of keep up with times, to increase it at least by $10 for this year. And also, do I need to make an amendment on that as far as when it's effective?
It'll be effective tonight.
Okay. So it'll be effective tonight, okay? Even though, I'll tell the school board payroll's already processed, so.
I appreciate that motion, Carl, but I don't do this for the money.
No, nobody says you're doing it for the money. I understand that.
No, but we haven't moved it up in 4 years.
It's moved
You
up
gotta
in 4
stay a
years.
little- You gotta keep moving every once in a while.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? And then we'll continue
I second
discussion.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, the
yes.
second one.
Just a question, are the school
Okay,
board members
discussion.
allowed to vote on this?
Good question. They're citizens, I know. They can't, they vote on something that they're benefit from.
It was motioned and seconded by board members last year.
Yeah, they have to be or accuse about it if they want to themselves personally, but they do it as a recusal.
Okay. So you have the ability to vote, but if you want to accuse yourself, you can.
I have a question. The $50 per diem for each meeting, so if there's a 2-day meeting in Madison, is that still only $50, even if you spend 2 days there?
It would be,
Or
but
don't you
I don't
ever
know
go
if
for 2
anybody's
days?
ever taken it.
Yeah, that's what it says, right, yeah, so if it's, like, school board convention's in Milwaukee, and it's, well, you can start on Tuesday and goes to Friday, so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But that's what it says, correct?
But it sounds like you're not taking per diem.
No, we have pretty good attendance.
All right, any other questions, discussion? So, are the school board members recusing themselves or not?
It's up to their choice.
Each one can do their own.
Do we need a roll call vote, or can we just be a majority?
The motion second, so if, we have to make a motion for a roll call vote. If,
Oh,
if anyone's going to oppose or recuse themselves.
We'll just do a voice vote then. Okay, the motion to increase the salaries from $245 to $255 per month, correct? With mileage and per diem the same. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And item number 13, to establish the 2021 annual meeting date. And what would that date be in August of 2021? It's usually the 4th. August 24th, Tuesday? Tuesday, Carl?
Yes, correct.
August 24th. 2021.
I move to set the meeting date for the 2021 annual meeting to be held, I'm going to say the multi-purpose room, but I'm not sure where that's going to be in the new building. So I'm going to say a multi-purpose room on the 4th Tuesday of August, August 24, 2021, giving the board authority to change the date if necessary.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carried. Any other business? All right, so I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Second, Cindy? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? None? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.